think that may have been about the previous challenge from Bruno Guimaraes.
Here is Nunes. Joelinton. And into that, showed a little too much out of Husanov, so City have it back. O'Reilly, Foden. Intricate passing from Manchester City before Ramsey nipped in to take it away from Haaland. Anyhow, appreciating what he is seeing out there. 750th game as a manager for Eddie Howe across his career, his 205th here at Newcastle. 4 years and 2 months he's been in charge. It's his third League Cup semi-final in that time. Foden.
Nowhere to go there, Lewis Hall. Foden putting him under pressure and well to win a free kick.
Lewis Hall will be keen to help Newcastle back to Wembley to repeat their success of last season in this competition, given that he was injured and missed the final. Murphy, one of the starters. Husanov, O'Reilly, but straight to Hall. Still Hall. Not by Husanov. Here's Haaland. And Doku. Bernardo Silva.
Good physicality from Haaland. Under pressure from Botman. Newcastle's threat though, isn't it? Murphy with a well-timed run in behind again.
Miley. Ramsey. Run though for the Newcastle fullback.
Yeah, it was. He's growing in confidence, Lewis Hall. Shifts on the inside. Lovely drop of the shoulder. Semenyo. Yeah, I think he's fortunate there not to see yellow.
As long as the bar remains high and remains consistently in the same position, I'm sure there won't be too many complaints from either Pep Guardiola or Eddie Howe. High defensive line here from Manchester City as Hall slides it in, looking for Wissa. It was read by Nunes, and this is Silva. Now given away by Anthony Gordon.
Yeah, that's a silly one from Anthony Gordon. Silva going nowhere.
Well, that man was the toast of the town, as he has been often recently when Manchester City came here on Premier League business. 2 goals in that game in the 2-1 win. And he's been banging them in. Vital contributions over the last week or so from Harvey Barnes, 4 in his last 2. Meantime, Nick Pope has an issue.
Getting the nod this evening, Nick Pope over Aaron Ramsdale. That's not a good look. The Newcastle goalkeeper.
Well, there will be one school of thought that thinks and hopes that Nick Pope is okay. There'll be another that will see Eddie Howe and Pep Guardiola both taking this opportunity to have a technical timeout, if you like. I might think that Nick Pope might be all right in a moment. We hope that that is the case and that he's able to continue. Anthony Gordon's taking this opportunity to change his boots. Pope looks like he's going to be okay, Chris.
Yeah. Good news for Eddie Howe. I think he's gone for his number one this evening in the Newcastle goal. Guardiola going for his number two.
Always two sides to that story, aren't there? You need your number two goalkeeper to get a little bit of experience. At the same time, for big games that mean a lot, in the final round the corner in a competition such as this, get your best out there if you can. Here's Hall. Semenyo, who was 24 at Bournemouth, 42 at Manchester City. On the back of his shirt. Nunes. Ramsey wins it back. Gordon. Ramsey. Powerful run. Murphy. Wissa. Well, that's the key to unlock the Manchester City door, even though they haven't made the most of it.
Yeah, I wonder whether Murphy, on this occasion, had just gone early. I think it's very tight, you know. And that one with Wissa, I think he's got to go for broke there, Wissa. Just go for that first time with his left foot. Decided to take a touch. He was crowded out, but offside anyway.
He had a fabulous goal-scoring season last year for Brentford. Before he got his move here to the North East, 19 Premier League goals, 2 and 2 against Manchester City. So he knows the way to goal against them.
What's been a nightmare for him, Bill, is he's always been playing catch-up, hasn't he, this season?
Semenyo. So important that Botman got that right, and he certainly did.
Yeah, that's not where he wants to be, though, Botman. Dragged out into a wide area in a duel with Semenyo. Went to ground. Good challenge.
Sven Botman, another who missed the final last year through injury. O'Reilly. Okay. Very important block there by Miley, because Stockley was running in behind. The misplaced pass. This time Bernardo Silva the beneficiary for Manchester City. Haaland's on the move. Joelinton makes the block. Out comes Murphy. Free kick for Newcastle United.
Joelinton did brilliantly well. Brilliantly well for Newcastle there. Fouls committed. Phil Foden not happy. Early ball, little nutmeg. I don't know what Foden is moaning about there. O'Reilly clatters into Bruno.
stoke the flames in that midfield engine room very nicely as we approach the half-hour mark. Still Newcastle 0, Manchester City 0. Lewis Hall. Times Manchester City have got their hands on this trophy. One of those 8 came against Newcastle back in the final in 1976. That was Newcastle's first final in this competition. Final most memorable for Dennis Stewart's overhead kick. A little flash point here. Joel Linton involved, Mateus Nunes likewise. Chris Kavanagh needs to pick the bones out of this one. There are going to be cards.
It's Joe Linton and O'Reilly as they're coming together. Joe Linton paying O'Reilly close attention, both seeing yellow. O'Reilly unhappy about the close contact from Joe Linton there. Bit of shoving and pushing. Just need to keep the discipline. Linton and O'Reilly, I think yellows will suffice.
Yellow card apiece, one for Joe Linton and one for Nico O'Reilly. Bowman rises. Doku. Elaine. Kusanov. O'Reilly. Yes. And Semenyo. Ball might need some help. And he got it from Anthony Gordon. Ball. Free kick for Newcastle. Baying for a booking, because it's not the first time that Lewis Hall has been felled like that.
He's done well on a couple of occasions this evening so far, as O'Reilly paying him close attention, and Bernardo Silva, what a daft challenge that is. It's fortunate not to see yellow there. Bernardo Silva going to ground.
Wissa.
He's got to try and hold on for that. It's careless out playing round the corner, nobody there.
Well, Foden is here for City. O'Reilly. Miley. Guimaraes. Here's Ramsey. Thought he was away, but Bernardo Silva had other ideas. Ramsey snaps back to challenge Doku.
I think it's fair to say getting a bit niggly out on that pitch, Bill.
Manchester City, who, as we've touched on already, have been free scoring of late, yet to have a shot on target or indeed on goal at all in the opening 35 minutes.
I think possession-wise, it's pretty much as we expected Manchester City to dominate the ball, but haven't done anywhere near enough in that final third.
Paul. Semenyo in his way. Nice to Ramsey. And Newcastle find Murphy. Murphy in, but too close to Trafford. Dominant defending from Chow. Ramsey. Murphy. That was closed in the nick of time by Nathan Ake. So Murphy could squeeze through it. Into the last 10 of this first half, of this first leg. This Carabao Cup semi-final. Guimaraes. Miley. Guimaraes. Jolinton. Gordon. Have a run. Beyond Nunez, who cuts him down and picks up a card for his troubles.
It's really good for Anthony Gordon. Just direct, positive, gets the ball, says to Nunez, I'm going to run you. And Nunez couldn't match the pace, goes to ground, brings him down. He's put himself under a bit of pressure. There we go, Nunez fancies himself there, but Gordon just too quick, too dynamic.
Well, that's what Eddie Howe will want to see from Anthony Gordon, suspended for the final last year, but played such a big role in getting Newcastle there against Arsenal in the semis. He's up the missed free kick, which Bruno Guimaraes will take. Guimaraes fired in. He'll get a corner off Nunez. Expectancy around St James's Park. Guimaraes with the corner. Trafford, Gordon. Ball underneath it, but he hasn't got it right. It's fallen to Doku. Bounce eluded him. Newcastle can tidy up.
Ramsey did well on the recovery there for Newcastle. Doku taking a better touch. I think Manchester City were 3-on-1.
Murphy.
He's been a good outlet. Give Murphy on that right-hand side, kept the width. Caused Manchester City and Nathan Ake a fair few problems then at Newcastle right.
Wissa. Provide the service for Anthony Gordon.
Well, the first part was pretty good, the turn. It's not clean enough with his pass.
expecting the first half to be a tale of how Antoine Semenyo was causing Lewis Hall problems. Well, it's certainly been 6 of one, half a dozen of the other in that respect. Maybe even Lewis Hall edging it.
I would say so. I mean, there's the debate surrounding Semenyo. Is he, which is his preferable side? I think he'd tell you he likes that left-hand side. That's where I think he was at his best for Bournemouth.
Ball floats it in.
There you go. You're talking him up, Bill.
Trafford in front quickly. Hall sees off Doku. What was awkward looked pretty easy, Lewis Hall. Now the other Lewis, Miley. Chow. Misplaced by Miley. This is Phil Foden for Manchester City. O'Reilly. Kusanov. Bernardo Silva. Foden. Bernardo Silva, back to Foden.
That 5 across the Newcastle midfield, just looking to frustrate Manchester City, saying, I'm going to try and let you play through the centre, you'll have to go round us.
Got Doku providing the width on one side, Semenyo on the other, and here is Antoine Semenyo. Ake. His header. And again, and this is Ramsey, and this is Murphy. Little ponderous from Murphy, which allowed Doku to come back and steal it back.
I think he was looking for a more decisive run from Wissa in that situation. Doku did well, though.
Given the way that these two have been going about their business, we expected goals. We may still yet get plenty of goals here this evening. This has been a little bit more like one of those old-fashioned cagey semi-finals, first legs that you used to get. Neither side wanting to give anything away.
You say about we expected goals, especially with the injury issues which both sides have got.
I think the fact that Newcastle will definitely feel they want to take a lead back to the Etihad in 3 weeks' time will mean that will loosen the handbrake a little bit in the second half. Here's Semenyo, meantime for Manchester City. Away by Miley. Foden, O'Reilly.
They just haven't connected in that final third, Manchester City. Normally you see quick combinations. Hasn't come off this evening. They had that early chance, didn't they, down the left-hand side where Bernardo Silva made a good forward run to the byline and crossed it in, and that's been about it for Manchester City in the attacking sense.
Players who've been very effective for them in recent weeks, Tijani Reinders, Ryan Cherki, both among their substitutes here. Rodri, who was a starter at the weekend against Exeter, also among the substitutes here for Pep Guardiola. Doku, Ake. Last minute of normal time at the end of the first half. Doku probing. Hall. knew that Semenyo was right behind, so I wasn't going to take a chance there.
Yeah, he did just enough. Good from Doku again. That little burst of pace and puts the ball into a really good area. Ball does enough. Jacob Murphy down for Newcastle.
Murphy, who has had his injury issues this season, I hope it's not a recurrence of one of those, or indeed a new one, but he's holding the back of that thigh, the hamstring area, as 1 minute of added time is signalled by the fourth official here, Matthew Donoghue. Appear to think that this is not good news for Jacob Murphy. You see Harvey Barnes readying himself, and I'm sure there'll be a certain Mr. Carrick looking on at proceedings here, having been confirmed as Manchester United's interim head coach until the end of the season. He can plan the Manchester derby, which we have live for you this Saturday from 11 on Sky Sports. Newcastle supporters would have hoped to have seen their number 11 come on at some stage, but not under these circumstances.
Well, I think Jacob Murphy did a pretty decent game, but not a bad sub to bring on.
A player at the peak of his powers. 11 goals. So far this season, 2 of them coming here against Manchester City. We'll take the corner through Foden. Doku. City corner. The last kick of the first half. Haaland misses it over by Ake. Took a Newcastle touch on the way through. Might be time for them to reload.
Well, I don't know whether that was just a bad corner or one off the training ground there.
Newcastle nerves jangling just before the break here. The Doku delivery again. Botman's missed it. A swing from Foden. Linton back there, and Chris Kavanagh brings the first half to a close. Well, Newcastle's best moment in front of goal actually came pretty early on. Johan Visser played in by Jacob Murphy, but he plays wide. Manchester City, who for the first time in 3 years are starting Erling Haaland in this competition, haven't really been able to play to his strengths.